Welcome to my first ever YouTube video, which is going to be a review of my e-bike, which is a KTM 271 Macina Ride. For anyone in the market for an e-bike, more of a beginner's bike around the £2,000 mark, then I think this is an excellent choice, particularly if you're going to do a bit of off-road and on-road riding. Personally, I use it mainly for back lanes and don't do much off-road riding at all. So, is it a good choice? I think so. I didn't like the looks of most of the other bikes in this price category, and I also own a KTM motorcycle anyway, so it was quite nice to have a matching e-bike to go on my motorbike. I'll review the motorbike in another video, hopefully. But for the meantime, I'll talk about the bike you can see before you. And I've had it for a year now, and it's just had its first service, which cost, I think it was £91, and it was all checked over. I had new brake pads front and rear, and I had to have a new chain. The bike, it was badly in need of a service. Brakes were squeaking, and I'd already replaced the front set myself. I don't think I did a very good job of it. But didn't realise the rear ones were wore out and the chain had stretched, hence it was not engaging properly. So I'm just demonstrating the different modes. As you can see, there's 4 different modes on this bike. So turbo being the mode you put it in if you didn't want to do much work, or you had particularly bad knees. I suffer from bad knees myself, hence I've got an e-bike, which is the first e-bike I've owned. I'd always cycled before this and just enjoyed cycling, but my knees dictated the fact that I needed to do something about it, because I live in a very hilly part of Somerset, and so hence I've got this e-bike. And a year in, I'm still enjoying it. Is it the best e-bike for its money? I couldn't tell you, obviously it's the only one I've had, but I still think, looking at other ones, it's still probably the best looking one, and even though I ride it mainly on road or back lanes, it's still perfectly happy doing that. I'm thinking of changing the tyres at some point, so they are more road focused tyres instead of the tyres that are currently on it, which create a lot of drag. But if you want one of these bikes, they're quite difficult to get hold of. I had a job to source this one. I had to go, I think I got it from Swansea, Treads in Swansea, and it was the last one they had. And I believe, having looked, that there's none this year. This was a 2019 bike. This year the bike's changed colour, and it's still hard to source. I've had a quick look before I did this video to see how easy they are to source now, and they're not, basically, so you have to really look around for one. If you want to see what the colours for 2020 are, there you go. This is the 2020 colours. Pretty much the same bike, much the same price. So there's a bit of onboard footage, which is something I'm going to be doing with my motorcycle reviews. This channel is mainly going to be motorbike reviews, but I thought I'd start off with a practice on my e-bike. This is me riding around country roads in Somerset on the KTM. Don't know what else I can tell you, really. It's been a fairly reliable bike. I've had a couple of punctures, and those tyres have been a nightmare to get off. I haven't been able to get them off, and it's not just because I'm weedy, but I haven't been able to get the tyres off once I've had punctures, so I had to get someone to pick me up and collect me in the middle of nowhere twice. My other half, actually, she came out in the car and picked me up, and we had to do it at home because it was so hard to break the bead on those tyres. Anyone who's got one of these will probably tell you the same. So another reason to change the tyres. But other than that, faults wise, it hasn't really had any. So it did badly need the service. The chain was stretched and it wasn't engaging gears very well, especially first gear. It kept jumping out of first gear, so there's a lot of clunking and clanking when I used to change gear. But other than that, it's a really good bike, difficult to get hold of, so it might be worth checking out KTM's website. As for the specs on the bike, I don't know them off the top of my head, so they'll all be at the end of this video. I'll add them on so you can check them, so I know I'm not talking rubbish like I normally am. I should talk a little bit more about the battery life, which is pretty good. Obviously, if you put it in turbo, then it's not going to last that long. But when I first bought the bike, I used it a lot. I used the battery assist a lot, so I can still cycle. But the more I've used it over the last year, my knees have got a lot better, and I tend to use it less and less, if hardly at all now, and just ride it like a normal mountain bike, road bike most of the time. So once I charge the battery, it lasts ages for me. So, and I only use the lowest setting, the eco setting, if I do have to use it, and that's really only up steep hills. The footage you see now, none of it's with any assist on, it's just riding it like a normal bike, which it's good at, apart from the fact the KTM is an electric bike, so it is heavy. It's one thing to remember. The other day when I was in for a service, I rode a normal mountain bike, backup bike that I've got, and yeah, the difference in the weight is astronomical. The ordinary mountain bike is like a feather. So yeah, it's something to bear in mind when buying an e-bike. They're not going to be light. The battery's heavy, so you've got the motor and the battery is heavy. So, but they're still brilliant machines, and I definitely recommend one, especially if you've got any problems like I've had with my knees, or probably older people that want to get around and struggling with a normal push bike perhaps. Well, that's the end of my review on the KTM Macina Ride 271, and the end of my very first YouTube video. I'm sorry it's not very good, but hopefully they'll get better. I'm still playing about with things at the moment and trying to work everything out. It's probably not the best person narrating stuff, but if you have any questions about the bike, feel free to ask. I'll try and answer them as best as I can, and hope you like my first effort. I'm sorry if you didn't, but there you go. I'm going to keep putting videos up in the future until I get told not to anymore. Thanks for watching.